Hi guys, so this is my review on Fury by Elizabeth Miles. It was sent to me by the nice people at Simon & Schuster. Yes, so this is a paranormal mystery thriller, sort of horror novel I suppose, and it takes a tiny portion of Greek/Roman mythology concerning the Furies, and they were deities who sought vengeance and delivered justice to people who had done wrong, and they were typically old, ugly, haggard women, and they would punish people in quite cruel and violent and unjustified ways, and they'd hunt you down until you'd served your punishment, and the punishment typically had to befit the crime, which wasn't always the case, and certainly isn't the case in this. Anywho, the Furies in this novel happen to be, of course, three very attractive and mysterious and elusive young ladies, and Ty, featured on the cover here, is the ringleader of the trio. And these girls are hunting down our two protagonists, teenagers Emily, called Em, and Chase, who have or are about to do wrong. And we're given the details of Emily's bad actions on the blurb. We know that she is going to cheat with her best friend's boyfriend, so committing a bit of adultery on the side while her best friend's out of town. And Chase, we don't know what his crime is until right towards the end of the book. It's alluded to a tiny bit every now and then throughout the novel, but for the most part he kind of seems like this very randomly selected victim of the Furies' attention for a long time, and you don't actually know what he has done or could have done to warrant, them harassing him. Whereas Em, we kind of, we obviously know what it is she's been up to. What's interesting is that the Furies, their presence is felt right from the outset of the book, and it's kind of pinwheels and is set into motion with the attempted suicide of a girl from Em and Chase's school, whom they both know. And when she attempts suicide right at the beginning, it brings about the Furies coming into the lives of these kids, and they already start harassing Chase and Em before it's apparent that either of them have done anything wrong, so that's interesting. Kind of lends the question, I guess, of where guilt can lie, if it's only in committing an action or a deed, or if it can be sort back to the feelings and thoughts you have that lead you to do that, and where guilt begins, I guess, and where blame can be placed. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, I probably am. So anyway, as much as I wanted to enjoy this book because I thought it would be different and interesting, it could bring up some different moral themes, and would get to see people behaving badly, knowingly so, and that might be, something different to see in protagonists, because you can actually say, hey, you've done wrong, as opposed to, you usually have heroes and heroines who we're meant to like, and I usually just dislike them because I think they're douchebags and idiots, where in this case, they're douchebags and idiots for a reason. So all these things, and also, the element of Greek mythology getting woven in there, I thought this is something cool and a bit different. But I still really disliked it, sadly, and I think I'm probably going to have to give it 2 out of 5. And there were too many reasons I couldn't stand it for the most part. Pacing. This book is the first in a series, so that might explain a little bit as to why it had to linger on so much, but it just seemed like for a long time there was either the building or maintaining of tension with not much at all happening. We sort of see Em commits her act kind of towards the beginning of the book, and Chase is sort of just there, hanging about and kind of delivering some information about different characters, and he sort of connects things together a lot more than Em does. They have different circles of friends, but they know each other, so it's sort of like information is relayed between the two of them in a way. But yeah, they're kind of getting stalked by these Furies, but nothing else. That's essentially it. They're kind of going throughout their day, occasionally doing and thinking things that aren't very nice, and, getting harassed by these mysterious girls every now and then. And that's it. for the majority of the book, and shit only really starts to go down right towards the end. So I just sort of sat there most of the time feeling really bored, because nothing much was happening. And then my other main issue with the book is the characters, all of whom bar one I really hated. Like I said, I thought it would be interesting to read a book where our lead characters are doing bad things, but no, that wasn't interesting, and it wasn't given any kind of hubris to it, because you didn't give a shit about these two, especially Em, she was such a whiny, selfish, really selfish, greedy little cow. And the both of them, her and Chase, spent so much time trying to justify everything they'd done and trying to completely devoid themselves of any guilt or blame, and trying so hard to place themselves in the good side, or making excuse after excuse. And it was just so unattractive and unlikable, and yes, probably very credible and human, and I'm sure that's probably how we would act. But to spend an entire book reading about people like that, and having to listen to their narrative voice again and again and again, oh my, I just really didn't like either of them. And so I was completely on the side of the Furies. I just thought, yeah, punish them. Just do something to them. I don't care. I don't like them. Get rid of them and make them shut up. And most of the supporting characters were the same. The guy that Em cheats on with is an utter douchebag, and he was so much more deserving of cruel, unmitigated vengeance than Chase or Em were. He was disgusting. And then, of course, Em's best friend was also just this really irritating, flirtatious, bubbly, sassy friend that gets on your nerves. So you couldn't care about anyone and establish relationships or connections to them. So you couldn't care about the wider storyline, because stuff was happening to them. But it didn't matter, because these are really unlikable people. So that just, yeah, that completely jarred me and put up a huge barrier that I knew I wouldn't be able to get through. And as such, I just couldn't enjoy the book or take any active part in it, really. So, yeah, I was disappointed, because I didn't have high expectations, but I wanted to enjoy it. I did sincerely want to like the book. And it just didn't happen for me. Also, the topic of suicide is kind of, it's not dealt with, I won't say that, but suicide features in the book, and I felt it was done in a very offhand manner, and maybe it's just for me, because I take that very personally, but it kind of felt insulting, the way in which it was featured in the novel, and the way in which characters reacted to it and how it was discussed. I didn't care for that at all. It left this really bitter taste in my mouth. So, yeah, just didn't like it. But I mean, other people might. I'm usually the one with the random opinions that no one else agrees with, so don't listen to me. And people are always lured in by pretty covers, so you never know. So go for it if you want to, and if you're interested. I don't recommend it though. 2 out of 5 stars for Fury by Elizabeth Miles.